Okay, welcome everybody to another episode, if you can call it episode, of developing Pixel Painter Challenge. So last episode we implemented the whole concept of, or the whole idea of keeping track of how many lines were correct, which is not shown on the let me think. I'm not sure what I did to myself. It was not shown anywhere except for in the console, but it seems like the console is also not up to date. But it does have it here, so I assume it still works, the correct cells. I just don't know why. Maybe I just deleted it. I probably did. Okay, yeah. I'm also not sure whether, I'm also not sure, 100% sure whether it's correct to ideal to keep in the render grid. Might want to pull it up to the level manager. Seems to be a bit more, or seems to make more sense to me, that actually it is the level manager that is responsible for doing it. But yeah, for the time being we have the logic, we have everything we need. So let's keep it like that. And then last time we also said, like, now, as you can see, I mean, like, it's a bit difficult to know where your corners are, especially if you actually click somewhere that is yeah, like in between. Why the hell? That is in between the actual, or in your actual already colored area. It is in color, that's almost impossible. Yeah, my thing is, but I think it's being messed up because of the new thing. Yeah, I see we also prepared certain things already for fixing that. Well, fixing that. As I said last time, the idea was that we would introduce a new asset. For the time being, we always use fill. You have border and you have fill. It's a bit interesting, I call it fill, but okay. So the idea was to, I'm just gonna duplicate this, copy here yourself. Does that work? Why does this one seem so small? Interesting. Anyway. Rename. So I'm gonna call this fill corner. I have decided to use indeed corner and not point. In here I did something highlight point, but I'm gonna not highlight corner, because that's not good. And then the only thing I have to do is actually make this work. How can I edit this? I don't know if I have any proper editing tool. No, I have something. And I have been thinking about this as well, which is, it's not that easy, or it's not going to be that easy to actually create something that can actually be used in that sense. In that sense that since we use, like, I put the color, how am I gonna say this? So the color currently, the default color of the sprite actually is white, and then the color comes by setting the color in the code. If we do the exact same thing, or change the sprite in such a way that it, like, I want to have an indicator in the middle, right? The problem is I can give the indicator whatever color I want, but it will change color based on the color I assign to the sprite. So for now, the only option I feel I have is to make the center a black dot, black square, whatever. I don't have any proper tools, so I mean, it's not even going to be that easy to do it. Yes, I don't have GIMP installed or anything, so not that easy. Okay, so I can always fix my sprite later. So for the time being, I have now a sprite with like a, yeah, okay, it's not a black dot. Damn. I thought I made it black. Turns out I made it transparent by just erasing it. How come it became transparent? I painted the whole thing black. Huh? This is so weird. Where is my editor? I'm not even sure if I have a paint tool here. Okay, I think this will do for now. It's really horrible. It's really bad. But it's fine. It's just to see whether the indicator, whether the logic works, and all we need for that is to actually see whether it works. So this is sprite. The sprite is really horrible. Okay, but at least it will work. So what we have to do, we have to make sure we load it in. It's called. Should I give it the name a space or not? I'm not sure if space is a good idea. I'm just gonna use it. Okay, and then I'm gonna open this. This can be commented. Did I already create the method? I don't think so, did I? This was a bit curious, I'm not sure if that's gonna work. Highlight corner. Okay, yeah, and that's where you see that tools like Codemium are a bit messed up. Okay, so I take the color. Yes, I still have to take the current color. Color. I do my highlight position. Yes, that's what I have. And then here I have no idea where he thinks this comes from. Corner is fill corner. And then I set I'm not sure if this is really required. It could be that I've already set them at that time, except maybe for the beginning. So for now I'm gonna do it. And actually, if you look at this highlight and highlight corner, you can see that these two methods are almost identical. I probably should not have done that now. Unity will complain. You can see that these methods are basically identical. The only difference is here is the actual tile, I guess they use. So this is something we will fix. This is something we will adjust. The name highlight point does not exist in current context. That's because I did not name it highlight point. I called it highlight corners. And now it should work. And then when this works, then we will actually clear up the mess. Oh, I also see that, I see that I forgot to do my Visual Studio Code. There it is. Okay, so what I was saying is I've created highlight corner now, which is almost identical to actual highlight. You can see it's all lines are identical except for here, which is the tile that's actually being used, and that's fine. So now, if I well, I guess you can see. This is an interesting. What the hell is this? How is this happening? What's going on here? I have no idea how this is possible. It seems to be clearing it. You think it can't find my fill corner because of the space? It seems to be just clearing. Probably should have turned on the console much earlier. No providers configured for use machine. No. I have no idea what this one is about. This one is clear. This one is this here. So my fill corner, indeed, it can't find the tile fill corner, which is odd. I would prefer not to do this, but unless of course there is something else wrong with the fill corner metadata or something, but nope, that seems fine. So it should just find it. Oh, I know. I'm gonna introduce the space again. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. I'll add the space again because I like the space, it's cleaner. Although I don't mind underscores, but definitely not anything else. And then I have to open up the tile map. Where was it again? Tile map. How do I edit the tile map again? It was somewhere here as well, you could find it. With a border fill grid. I need. How do I go to the dialog manager? You think I can just edit here in here? Yeah, that's not gonna work. It might be somewhere here. Or I just might to have to look it up. Sprites default material, that's fine, and then it is the scripts. Okay. Yeah, okay. Unity, how to open download later. The tile palette, okay, window tile palette, that's the one. Window. Window tile palette, I don't see window tile palette. I see window package manager. Maybe it's under 2D. Yes, tile palette. Okay, and then I can just do this and I can put it there. Full corner, save. Okay, so this actually has to move to resources. I hope that does not mess with anything. So I did make the wrong decision there. As in, like, it should on the resource, not on sprites. Sprites is the tile part. So now, if we do it correctly, you'll see that we have a dot in the middle. Nice, so I can add the yellow. And I can take it again. And you can see all the corners. I am impressed. There actually is a solution to this. Oh my god. Damn, I forgot about the pink one. So this is definitely not a very good example of how, one, you would solve it. Second, how an actual good image would look like. But so we now have an indicator. The only weird thing is a bit, I guess, if you go back here, that it disappears. So that's the only thing that I still have to fix then. Because now you have no clue anymore where your starting point is. So starting point disappears. That's the only thing that's a bit annoying. And why is that? That is because I do a highlight. Not on here, but that highlight corner. Yeah, that will be at the end. Here, it's valid point cell on highlight points cell position -1 until cell position. It's this part that actually highlights my starting point as well. which is annoying. And that's not really something I can do about. I can, because it's a different highlight method. No? I mean, like, it's the start end position. Ta-da! So I can easily say highlights and get line positions. Now I can say if positions on equals start, then I do continue. Although I think technically we should only do it on the end. Maybe that's a better way. Maybe I should say if no denominations if end equals, okay, it's not end equals start. Oh damn it, starts the bed equals points. I think it's points I call it. And I have to call this end index equals positions and points positions length, and here I have to do end index equals position dot length minus 1. And then here it is simple end index. Let's see whether this works, and if it works we can start our cleanup. And is in the current context, excuse me, pretty sure it does. I mean, I define, oh okay, I have to say it's what is that, integer, is that long? What? I don't have, I'll assume it's an integer. I also use an integer here, so this wouldn't be an integer, it would be problematic. I can remove my debug. That's fixed. Okay, let's see whether it's working correctly now. Oh, I didn't even check it. I was too focused on making my object. Aha, it does. As soon as you go beyond, it doesn't work anymore, but here it does work. And everything else gets highlighted properly. Okay. So it does indeed work properly. The only thing that I may want to do is, where was that method? Where was that method? Definitely need some cleanup. This also is also way too long, but I'm not sure if I can actually fix this. What does it rely on? That is the question. That was the fill method. Is highlighting, yes. Here it is. Okay, highlight, yes. So what I can do is I can use the ternary operator, which is a bit ugly and maybe not such a good idea. What I can also do is I wrap it completely in a ternary operator. Like this. I also don't really like that one, so probably what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say end index minus equals 1. So just to remove 1 if the end happens to be your beginning point. Yes, I don't think you can ever have the situation where you actually end up with like trying to remove something that's empty, because in here you have 1, you always have 1, so it can never give an issue. These are like this case where like end and start is the same, so it should be empty, but I think even there are checks on its when this method is called. So and now I've kind of screwed myself because there's no way I can get back, so I have to undo. Fancy feature, if I say so myself. So okay, so the only thing we still have is like the highlight corner, which is exactly the same method, except for here the regular fill. I'm actually thinking, is there another method that does the exact same thing? No. How does the fill look like? Okay, the fill method does a lot more logic. The fill, which is the question is, does it even belong here? Problem vulnerability of the vector start and then it says fill. It's probably the easiest way to keep track of it. Because it is, in my opinion, it's a bit weird that indeed you have a method here is where the line is used. Because you have a method called fill, which actually is also responsible for keeping track of your score, basically. Okay, this method is only used once. So technically we could get rid of this fill method and then we could see if we could like extract the whole logic of like, okay, you're responsible for okay, my microphone just decided to just turn off. I think it doesn't realize that I'm talking, and so that means that I'm actually hoping that it's also recording properly. That might not be the case, but I will discover it later, I guess. But that's would be a bit problematic. Let me quickly check my audio devices. Hmm. Okay, You might not have heard me properly before. That was because it was using the wrong microphone, which I did not discover until now when my headset tried to turn off. So if I was too soft, I'm sorry. I hope you were able to understand everything. Well, you didn't really miss anything. It was all pretty easy to follow. I was just saying that the fill method is a bit of an annoying method as well because it keeps track of the correct cells, which technically it shouldn't do. I mean, like this is also an optimization to decide like, oh, should I even paint it? Should I not paint it? This actually is an optimization that you could do with the highlight as well. If you just think about it, if you remove this part, let me just quickly just show you. Because you have highlight corner, and then here you have fill, fill X to avoid any methods thing. So if you would think about it, like this is just optimization. If you remove this, then you have tile map set color. Yeah, the set tile flex, none of this actually matters. Why is that? Because it assumes if you fulfill it, you already have the correct tile flex, you already have the correct tile. So all of that is fine. Current color doesn't matter, I guess. It's not used. You have the level manager. Target color also doesn't matter. Then you have, here, for instance, here level manager instance current color. That's basically this line combined with this line together. Then you have color. Ah, yeah, okay, this is to make indeed the it lighter. Okay, so it's not completely the same. So okay, but I do want to extract this. Not clear highlight. 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 I don't want to start end. What I want to do, I want to do a vector to int cell, and I want to give it a tile. Which actually, isn't it interesting? How does the fill work then? If I set my tile, just the color. How come my it's on a different layer? Ah, yes, okay, yes. It just sets the full, because yes, okay, it's completely filled with white. Yeah, okay. It doesn't have to set a tile anymore. Yeah. I was a bit afraid that how that would work. Highlight, of course, if I can write it properly. Highlight and a tile, and then all this can all be whoop. Then he has a logic current color on here, and then he has set layer highlight, yes, and here you have the tile. And then all this has to do is say this is just highlight cell with a fill corner, and this is just a highlight cell and the regular fill. Is this actually still used a lot? I'll be damned. It's only used through the actual list now. So that actually means that this method can be down in preference of this. And let's see whether everything still works. But it should. The corner still looks correct, the line still correct, everything else hopefully works as intended, and it does. So that was very, very nice to be able, or being able to do this. Yeah. I still would prefer to have a cleaner way to do this. A shorter way as well. Can't we make this a bit shorter if we say it does not include Starman, it does include the endpoint, and that's actually what messed us up. Would have been better if it would not include the endpoint. I guess this method could also be a bit better. I don't even in my own comments. Well, no, not if there are no other segments yet. Crosses other lines. I think this is like crosses other lines. Well, no, it doesn't cross other lines. Not if there are no other segments yet. It can't cross any other line. And I think this is just to avoid some weird shenanigans. How would it even start? Start index equals 0. What is the start index? If points.count is larger than 2 and end equals points, start index equals 1. I don't even understand what this method does. This is very, very complex stuff, and I just copy pasted from somewhere, and I did understand it a bit back then. I'm just seeing if I can find some things to still clean up. I don't think so. This file is way too long. Partially because of the brace on the new line, still on the same line, but even then it is too long. I mean, like a file of 400 files, a file of 400 lines. This method is way too long, but I guess it's still acceptable. So that works. We have done what we aimed to do. Actually, it leaves me wondering what to do next. You can see with the blue, it's not clear, the indicator, and that's what I was also thinking, like maybe like based on the color I should actually change it, because if the color is too dark you won't see a difference. Apparently for some reason with blue it doesn't show up either, not very clearly. I don't know why. Maybe because the blue is already too dark. Oh, I know, because this I know why, because this one gets a 50% gradient. Of course, it's a highlight. Yes, so highlighting gets 50% gradient, so my black is not real black, it's more grayish. which means it is too close to the other colors. So is that something I want to fix? Preferably yes. Is that something I'm going to fix? No. I'm going to leave it as is for now. I think what's more important is that we have an indicator on how many tiles are correct. Maybe an indicator on, maybe start like, I'm thinking to move this out, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that makes sense. But I need a way to detect that the game is over, that you have won. We probably also want to keep track on like how many moves you have left. I should fix my buttons because they are off by a bit. But I think the most important game mechanic now would actually be like to keep track of like how many moves you have left, how many squares you already fill correctly, and so how close are you to your goal. And then also the question is, do we want to limit how many points you can put in a shape? Probably. I think that's going to be the case. Another thing is maybe I should also start looking for a proper image to see. I guess the amount of moves will depend on the image, but that's fine. But yeah, I just want to have some visualizer here, and I think that's what I am going to do next time. So this was a bit of a shorter session where things went wrong again. My apologies. But yeah, I hope you still enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye.